G'day everyone, hope you're doing really well. Welcome back, it's Teggy here. We've just had update 3, really excited about that one. And I just wanted to continue on the path journey, show you some new methods that might help you come up with some inspiration for your park. That's what I'm all about. I want to see everyone enjoying the game as much as they can. And what I've got here is, I guess, a bit of a boulevard with some domes that you might typically see in that sort of landscaping, which allows for root expansion in a tree like that. And you can see I've got the guest or the staff member here sitting on top of that pathway, and it just shows that guests can walk up and down on the path unhindered in this type of thing. So yeah, how would we go about doing that? So I'm going to show you something which is, I guess I call this the 9 centimeter method. And what we're going to do is take some path, and I'll just explain how this works. So if we just put down a very simple grid, and let's take a piece of path, and if I use the advanced smooth and I just pop that up, you're going to see immediately it separates the path like so. And so if we wanted to create a natural join, we can come in again to the path and select it with the edit tool, and grab those vertices and just merge them up and get a nice shape where it sort of blends it in, which is great. But in circumstances like circles and other things which are a little bit more complicated, we do lose the fidelity and it can become very fiddly. So this is why I think this 9 centimeter method is really important to show. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to come back to the blueprints. So I had a video on how to create circle stamps, and this is an awesome method actually. And if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you check it out. But it is this way of creating clean, perfect circles like these. And I'm going to take, let's say, a circle like that, copy it, and I'm going to take a piece like this and copy it, and I'm going to try and eyeball this to be right in the center of this piece of mesh to show you what we mean by 9 centimeters. So something like that, that'll probably do. So okay, now that I've got it, and if I try and lift this up and try and merge these points anywhere within here, you're going to see it will collapse on itself. And that's because there's I'm not sure what you call it, but a minimum distance for vertices to snap together using the edit tool. And it can be quite limiting. So you can almost see it snapping there in that shadow where it's going to deform. And if I keep doing this, I'm going to keep chasing it and basically rub out that entire section, which is a pain. So the 9 centimeter method is really as simple as taking the piece, using the advanced move tool, and just taking the Z-axis and moving up. And if you see that little number there changing just to 0.09, which is 9 centimeters of a meter, it will not separate the mesh. And if I do that again and again and again, I can slowly raise this mesh up without it deforming, separating rather. And so you can ignore that green poking through, that's just the terrain coming up with us, and we'll do that in a sec. But I'm going to keep lifting this, keep lifting it, as long as it's under 0.09, then we're good. But if I go over that, say 0.2, it's going to separate out again. And so this method is great because it doesn't inherit the same rules as the edit tool, where those vertices will start to collapse on themselves, because it honors the piece that we're moving. So if I bring it back in close, it's going to merge back together. And now I'm at the point where we can't go any higher because the path's too steep for this complexity. And if I take the whole bit and let's come in, and I'll just move it off the terrain. You can see the terrain's coming up with it. And if I undo that, that's because the path's not a suspended path. But I'll show you how to get rid of that in a sec. So firstly, let's go to our brush. I might just pick that cobblestone piece. And now that I've done that, I can take the center element and delete it. And these inner vertices are at that new height, and the outer ones are lower, and we've maintained the integrity of our shape. And if you have a look at it, it's just 2 pieces. Looks like a bit like a Pokemon ball. Maybe we can paint it that way. But yeah, let's take a planter now. And look, I think it's this circle one. I think this fits really well. And I'm going to have to advance smooth that up and scale it ever so slightly. you have a really nice, I guess, root bulb for your trees. And if we throw in a tree, let's grab, I don't know, like a palm tree or something. Maybe that's a bit big. I'll use this guy. Something like that. That's just a nice little addition for your pavement. And so if we come in and do a big boulevard, I might just use the big stamp here. And actually, I do like the contrasting pavement for this. Sort of shows, okay, well, this is designated hump for visual cues for accessibility and things like that. And we just paint that with red brick. Now I can take this whole piece, and you can even group it and just make it a blueprint if you want to. But we'll just take the whole lot and place it down. And I just think that adds a little bit more interest than your typical boundary. Now, it is also a nice idea to add railing as well. So if we come back into our railing, and I like this metal one, and it's black, and we'll just paint the center here. Get a nice little protective piece around the tree. So that's a cool tip, and I think helps explain why that 9cm method might be useful. And as I said, staff can walk up here and around it, no problems at all, and it's just another element. So hopefully that was interesting, and let's have a look at another technique where the 9cm method might be useful for landscaping purposes. Right, well, I was talking to Dutchy in the Bro Nation Discord channel, and he was looking at I guess the difficulty of painting harsh edges with the soil tool here. So if I come in and paint and want to create a nice garden bed, it just doesn't look very realistic with that grass is blending into the soil like that. That's not how it works. Generally, in a plush garden, you'll have a very harsh cutout line. And so we're thinking about how could that be generated. And so here's another use for paths, which will help us create a really nice flower bed that we can replicate. So I'm going to create, again, just a standard path. So I'll get my stamp tool out, my favorite one, number 1, and we'll just place down, actually I need to turn that railing off. So place down 5 of those. And I'm going to copy that and just give myself some snapping just for some consistency here. And that should have given us a mesh that looks a bit like that. And I can probably come in now and use this method. So let's say I want to move that up. What I can do is just come in, turn off the snap, and just do the 0.09, the 9cm method again. And we're just going to slowly raise this up and create ourselves a bit of a raised garden bed. And you've got raised garden beds that are enclosed in, say, a wooden border or a brick border or something like that. Pretty typical. And then you've got garden beds that are sort of cut out of the lawn area. And so what I'll do, I'll just take this piece now and lift it. And what we're trying to simulate is, I guess, a bit of a natural hump in the dirt using path. Now, this is using a brick technique, so we need to change this texture. So I'm going to come back to the path here, and we've found asphalt and a nice dark brown. Gives it sort of a simulated look. What am I doing? Paint. So sorry, asphalt. Yep, and paint that. And sort of like a dirt texture. I think it works quite well. Maybe a little bit browner, a bit more red in it. All right, something like that. And now that I've got that hump, it sort of looks good, but we need to get rid of this curb and make it blend in with the environment. So I'm going to take, I'm going to just get this mesh a bit more even. So I've got this shape. Let me just show you what it looks like at the moment. Okay, and we can come in and take these points. I might just bring them in slightly, just eyeballing this here. And then what I might do is get the rounding tool, curve the edges like so. Okay, now I've got a bit of a garden bed, and I want to hide it. So because paths manipulate with the terrain, we can just simply bury it. And this might take a little bit just to get it right. Okay, and so that's buried in nicely. And I found to hide our edging, you can come in and custom edge that with a timber or a wooden edge or brick or whatever you want. But I found the hedge works really nice. So I'm going to take that piece of hedge and we'll just rotate it. So get a degrees, 45, something like that. And we're just going to bring it in here. And I'll line it up. And just get this just right. Something like that. And we'll copy that down there. Don't know why it's rotating like that. Might be a new thing with update 3. But you get the idea. Let's carry this through. And I think there's actually a setting for how those rotations work in the menu. I'm not going to mess with that just now. So you can bring that around like that. Probably should have used world axis, but you get the idea. Something like so. And now with the new advanced tool, I can turn off path and just select all of that and rotate it on the world axis. Probably a better idea. And we'll just bring that in here. Okay, and I misjudged that slightly, so let's bring that across. Okay, and now if I take the paint tool and use the long grass, and just take the size down and just blend in the long grass here with the hedge, got this lovely garden bed. And yeah, you can see it's a much more realistic look than say that. And even if we come in and try, I'll just show you as a comparison actually. Let's get the scenery brush and we'll raise that as a small little one. Whoa, way too strong. I'll do that and just take the intensity down. So something like that. And then try and paint it. Yeah, this is sort of what the problem statement was. How do we make a sort of a realistic looking garden bed? And I think if you agree that looks a bit more like, yeah, a well manicured thing versus say that. And so yeah, we come in and now we can apply some shrubbery, if anyone gets that reference. Let us say me. Path, turn the path back on. And if I select the whole lot, I can, yeah, basically move it as a whole thing. And the nice thing about the pathing is it will deform the terrain as we move it. So it's actually really simple. Once you've got this piece, you can create as many as you like. So yeah, what was I doing? Shrubbery. Getting distracted. Okay, I'll just take something like this and yeah, place that there. And maybe we need a few flowers. There we go. You would spend a lot more time on this than I am. Make it look really good. Sometimes even little rocks in a little garden bed like that would look good. Maybe a very small rock, something like this looks good. Shrink it right down. I am loving the new automatic rotate feature. Yeah, but you take something like that, very basic, and you take this now whole selection with the path turned back on, and we can advance move copy and place it in, and you've got these, yeah, lovely little garden beds. And you'll notice the advantage here is that the pathing forms the terrain for us, and so we're not having to manipulate terrain at all. And yeah, you can basically, yeah, even put guests walking through this if you want to. You can take the path now and texture it. So you might want a bricked area. So let's go here where we bricks, and keep a little dirt strip in the center where the plants grow, something like that. Yeah, so there's a whole lot of possibilities. I actually really like the which one? What am I saying? The cobblestone. I think it's this one. Yeah, the one that we were using before. I think that looks really nice. And so just as an idea, you might create a bigger dirt area with a different kind of mesh. So your mesh can be any shape, and you could create a curved one that follows a S shape through the garden. But in terms of a lawned area, I just think that looks really good. And so yeah, of course, one last thing I haven't done, which is the long grass, which I think blends it in really nicely. So painting, long grass, there we go. Just that looks good. Looks like, they come in, they've mown the lawn, but on that sort of inward slope on the garden bed, yeah, they can't quite get it just as short there on the ride-on mower. Yeah, so there's another little landscaping idea. So yeah, thanks to the crew at Bro Nation, just sharing ideas and exploring. Yeah, it's been really fun having this kind of concepts come together. So there's something else you can do with paths. Hopefully it was useful. Stick around, I've got some more techniques coming. We've figured out a few more tricks and tips. So yeah, really looking forward to sharing those as well. But until then, happy pathing as always. Okay, thanks everyone. See you on the next one.